Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Welcome to the Snobs podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Star Wars Day! I am Mick Manhattan, of course, the host, one of the hosts of the Snobs podcast. I'm here for some very special announcements, also to celebrate a little bit of Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you, of course. So, real quick, some announcements I got going. So, as you can see down below, the Manscaped deal is still going, 20% off, and free shipping if you use promo code SNOBS. But that's ending on the 14th, and then we'll have to work out a renewal, things like that. But so if you want to use that code, please use it. Helps us out. Appreciate it. You got to be kidding.
We've been able to hear you.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine. we heard everything you said.
I don't think he can still hear us.
Anybody?
I don't think.
Anybody? Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's happening here?
It's not a show if there's not technical difficulties if I'm on.
Hold on. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
We hear you. Yeah. Welcome
you sound
to
like
live.
a beautiful man. With your chest.
Nobody hear me?
He's not checking the private chat.
I can't hear you guys either.
Can somebody out in Facebook land tell him that we can hear him? Because hold on.
Hello.
Hello
out there. Hello, Vietnam. Can anybody hear me listening?
I think this is the most fun I've had in a podcast in a long time, actually.
You can hear us. Jason, you can hear me.
Yeah.
Why can't I hear you guys?
Is your volume turned down?
What is going on?
Can the audience hear us? That's all that matters, right?
Oh, I see. There it is.
Did Alex get it right? Did Alex get it right? 10 points for Alex?
What did Alex say?
Your volume is turned down?
No, it wasn't my volume. It's switched for some. It's never done this in my entire. So I hope everybody heard my intro.
Oh, yeah, we heard you just fine. You talked about being manscaped and only until the 14th and how you were,
Night of the Living Dead.
Night of the Living Dead, and it was going to be rebroadcast and all that stuff.
Okay.
We waited. We heard every living word you said.
So the mic was working. So I just plugged in the mic real fast, and I guess it switched it to a default of speakers.
Oh, that's funny.
And I'm like, why can't I hear anybody? I'm like, what's going on here? All right. So anyway, we're here. Of course, Tim and Jason are joining me. I want to talk a little bit about Star Wars because why not?
Wait, what? What'd you say, Mick? I'm just kidding.
Jeff is here. Jeff said, we heard you. We fell asleep, but we heard you. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Jeff. Ever the comedian. So, I have a question for you guys. I've been a part of a bunch of Star Wars podcasts lately. And the same question has been asked, and it's a very valid question.
Okay.
The question being, what does Star Wars mean to you? I don't want to ask that question because everybody else has, and I felt like I've answered it about a billion times. I want to ask, I can't hear Jason now. I hate you if you're screwing with me.
I think he's talking to somebody in the background.
You're good.
Oh, all right. I'm going to say this. I'm leaving that in, too. I'm leaving because I know it records my voice. I'm leaving that whole thing ready to go. So I'm going to ask this. Why is everybody in love with Star Wars? Well, anybody who matters. I'm kidding. But, I want to know the real question of why do people love this franchise so much? There's so many franchises.
I just got a gift.
Did you get it?
I just got a gift. My mom dropped this off for me. She loves me on Star Wars Day. So it's a Darth Vader LED desk lamp lightsaber.
That is amazing. I love
Holy crap. You guys keep talking. I'm going to play with my toy, and then I'll answer your question in just a moment.
All right.
I think
Well,
it's
I'm going to
because-
go to you, Jason, real quick.
I think it's because nobody's seen Star Trek yet. No, I'm just kidding. I think it's because it has.
I will
something,
fight you.
I think it's because it has something that appeals to everyone. You've got a princess. You've got a kid from pretty much nowhere who excels and becomes great. You've got cool little puppets and Muppets, and you got this grandiose story. The droids, there's something for everybody in the Star Wars franchise, and I think that's why it resonates so well.
That is beautiful.
I'm sorry. I gotta pay attention to this because I'm gonna nerd out about that so hard.
As you should.
Okay.
Actually, did
Anyway.
anyone see that they put out the retractable lightsaber? It's coming in 2022.
No, but I will need to.
It's there's just like a little ad they put out. It's a retractable lightsaber.
Oh, that's
I
cool.
guess you can get it from what do you call it? Disneyland or whatever, Disney World, wherever they have the Star Wars land. So I'm going to see if I can pull that up and show
Yes, please.
Yeah, here we go. Okay. Hold on. I'll share screen in just a second. Mate.
So, in the meantime, I can answer the question for you if you like.
Yes, please do.
So, and I've joked about this several times, but Star Wars is like my marriage. It's been there for me in my good times and my bad times, in sickness and health. It's been when things were low, I watched Star Wars. When things were high, I watched Star Wars. And like Jason was saying, it has something for everybody. So when you're watching Star Wars, it's not just, oh, sweet baby Jesus. You had me at hello. Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, Star Wars has something for everybody. Everybody is covered. There's representation for everyone, and I love the fact that yes, it's not true sci-fi. It is space fantasy. I'm completely willing to admit that. A lot of Star Wars fans want to fight the fact and it's sci-fi. No, it's not. It's not true sci-fi. The simple fact is there's not an Earth in this universe. Therefore, it's not sci-fi. That's where I draw the line as to what differentiates it. But you can, for me anyway, I can watch Star Wars. That's my beautiful wife. Isn't she gorgeous? Hey, she, I still flirt with her. Damn. Anyway, but sorry, I'm a little distracted here because the cool toy is sitting next to me. But the simple fact is that Star Wars is awesome because of its simplicity of its story. It's good versus evil. It's got the family stories, the family aspect, and why family lines matter and why friendships matter, and right versus wrong, honesty versus dishonesty. There's a lot of simple stories and tropes in Star Wars that you can apply to anyone at any time. And so for me, that's why Star Wars is so important.
Yeah, that's a great answer for that too. Big one being it does have something for everybody. Of course, I know for me, like again, not to like I said, I've answered the question about why personally, but like I know for me, the attraction growing up is always like it's action packed. It's got real fun characters at the base of it. Like all of these characters are not just important to the story; they're fun. That you like Luke Skywalker, you like Princess Leia, you like Han Solo, Chewie. Name one character in that movie you don't like, even if like you hate them, you like them. Like you hate that they're evil or whatever. But Darth Vader was a scary dude back in the day, man.
I'll be honest with you. It took me the longest time to warm up to Jar Jar Binks. I hated Jar Jar. When Phantom Menace came out, I was so angry when I left the movie theater because of Jar Jar. I was like, why? And I get that Star Wars is written for and aimed more towards children. And I get that. That's part of it. George Lucas has been very open and honest about that for decades. So, that's not going to change anytime soon. I get that. I realize that. but it took me a long time to be able to warm up to him. And honestly, the part that made me actually start liking Jar Jar was the possibility, the reality that he was a Sith in hiding. And just after the end of Phantom Menace, the blowback about Jar Jar made George Lucas change direction. Yeah. And if and there's enough smoke there for me to think that there's a fire in that direction. And if that's true, then I have a lot more like for Jar Jar. If it's not true, I'm going to keep thinking it, and I'm gonna go with it anyway. So
I do like that. I want to introduce Max to the show. Another one of the Three Geeks. Of course, if you do watch Three Geeks, shut up and stop arguing with them. There may be 20 people on that screen. Three main geeks. Cut them some slack and stop fighting.
We only had three last week.
It started with three, and we remember our humble beginnings is all.
Exactly. And Three Geeks rolls off the tongue, not 33 geeks. So
right? It sounds good. It's nice.
There's at least 17. That's my argument. There may not be three, but there's at least 17 on that screen.
It has to be because they do so many interviews a week. Like every time I talk to Jason, he's like, I have an interview. And it's like, really? You just finished like 15 of them.
Yeah.
They have to have more than Three Geeks. They get warm. The question I threw out there right now, and then I have another question for everybody afterwards. Why does everybody love Star Wars so much? Why is it so rad?
I think Star Wars is a half-decent story wrapped up in a bunch of really good iconography. It's you have a little bit of samurai in there. You got like spiritual. There's a lot of spiritual lore in there. There's basically Nazis. Everyone loves to hate a Nazi. So that's a great villain, and it can still capture your imagination. I think Star Trek loses out a little bit because it's more technical. Or Star Wars, you can literally anything can happen, and it's like, oh well, on this planet this is going down, and you can just make up another Star Wars story. So I think it's vague enough, and also like laser swords, end of story. Right?
Blasters are amazing.
Well, to go with Max's point, the simple fact is that there's escapism. There's not to me a lot of things that are in the sci-fi world that provide the same level of escapism, where you can dive into the story and be completely immersed as to what's going on. For me, that's what Star Wars does for me. It allows me to have that bit of escapism. So for the 25 minutes I'm watching Clone Wars, even the animated series, which are awesome, and I started rewatching that because Bad Batch.
Do not spoil it. Oh wait, no.
No. I won't give any spoilers. I don't do that to people. That's not cool.
I saw Max going like this. I forgot he said he hasn't seen it yet. Okay.
Oh no! I was just saying that Clone Wars is arguably good. Is all I'm saying.
Can we mute him?
I've been trying for so long.
No, so there's escapism. There with just enough doses of reality where people can tie into it and feel like they're having their level of fun, but still being able to have some semblance of reality as to what's going on because of the interpersonal relationships and the way that people act and react towards one another, and going back to the good versus evil. I'll never forgive you, Tim. For what, Kathleen?
Hating Jar Jar so much.
Oh well, she'll get over it.
Jar Jar's.
She'll get over it. I've come around.
I'll tell you. For me, it's always been like such the thing. I think everybody. I've ever known that connects. Star Wars connects people. Star Trek does too. I'm not going to take that away from Star Trek. Star Trek's universe does. I've never actually met anybody who only likes Star Trek, except for Tim, only likes Star Trek and doesn't like Star Wars or vice versa. Usually everybody kind of likes both. One more so than the other. But for the most part, it's like they tend to like both for different reasons, of course. But Star Wars always seem to pull people together. I almost equate it to like Ghostbusters or Ninja Turtles when you're a kid. Like they're characters that everybody can like. There's such an amalgam of characters. Like nobody's going to argue. Like everybody will take one and just play. You don't see a lot of. I don't think you see a lot of movies like even Star Trek. Like you're not outside being like, all right, let's go play Star Trek. Like let's explore this planet. With Star Wars, you're like, get the wiffle ball bat and let's fight.
Right? Where's the tube from the wrapping paper? Let's do this. We're going
to bring on another special guest. He's going to talk a little bit about tonight's show as well. That's Alex from the Entertain This podcast.
Hello, friends. What's up, guys?
Another reference I like to say is the real Entertain This podcast. It's like a Ghostbusters reference.
It's good. We really like that.
Me on that, people.
Well, Mick, sometimes when you're kids, you find your black friend and you two play Lethal Weapon together.
That's the best thing.
I'm
the best thing, of course, to play.
But I'm like, I always wanted to be Mel Gibson's character. This is bullshit.
Well, it's whoever can do the best Australian accent. An Australian accent trying to do an American accent.
That's
I can
true.
imagine Jason saying, I'm not going to jump off that building with the guy, but Max being like, I'll do it. Real intense. We are, Alex, I want to ask you this question because that's kind of what was going on. Why do
Hit me
you
with it.
Everybody loves Star Wars so much?
It's kind of something we get into in our episode, but one of the answers, at least that I've heard that I like and that I believe in, is that it's a universal experience that once somebody has like watched the Star Wars films, it's so rare, if not impossible, for them to enjoy them that it's like the one thing that everyone agrees on. I would say there are two things in this world that we could start the foundation of world peace, and it would be that Star Wars is good and that you shouldn't use toilets as planters. And those are the two things that everyone across the board will agree on.
Yeah.
I will fight you to the death over that planters comment, sir.
You would plant plants in a used toilet for yard aesthetic?
Absolutely.
Okay. Hey, man.
Hey.
He's not human. He didn't pass the human test.
One question I have not heard asked that much on the recent shows I've been, and you may have done it on Entertain This. I'm going to check out the whole episode tonight. I was fortunate enough to be on it, and I appreciate that.
It was fun.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I want to ask, going around the clock, we'll start with Jason. Who's everybody's favorite character? You got to pick one, and it's going to be your absolute favorite. Well, actually, I'll start with me because I guess I'm first. I'm going to say it right here. Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan is my favorite character. Old and young, the whole gamut, everything, every version of Obi-Wan is my absolute favorite. Jason, stop shaking your head and go.
Oh, sorry. You got Yoda. Yoda would probably be my favorite character. It was the one Star Wars toy that I played with the most when I was a kid. It's because he fit on the penguin's back so well. And I think Yoda's great. Yoda's great in the prequels. He's great in the original. I'm not a huge fan of the prequels, but, there's some things that you grasp onto, like Obi-Wan and Yoda. I really like Yoda. Yoda's probably my favorite character in the series, with a close second being Rey, but that's for another podcast.
Really?
Fair? Okay. Hey,
Get into Three Geeks to find out why.
Listen, no,
Probably not. I don't want to be yelled at for 45 minutes.
You're going to get yelled at anyway. You're going to get yelled at anyway.
Yeah, but do it for 2 hours rather than 45.
Fight.
No, I will say this. That's a terrible answer, and you should be expelled from this universe. No, I'm just kidding. I have nothing against that, but I see Max does, and I can't wait to get to them.
Oh no, I don't know. I don't know what Ray brings to the table. I honestly, I just don't see that. Yeah. Anyway, carry on.
I can tell you what Ray brings to the table.
Huh?
I can tell you exactly what Ray brought to the table.
What?
The only black guy in the new trilogies.
Okay.
She brought him into the universe.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, the most wasted Star Wars character ever. Poor Finn.
No, that was sarcasm, Max. It was sarcasm. That's why I said the only black guy. No,
I mean, Lando Calrissian still exists.
Listen, Lando Calrissian isn't a black guy. Lando Calrissian is a god.
He just happens to be a black god. I'm just saying.
I love when you're on the show.
All right, boys, I have to get back to work. It's nice seeing all of you and your beautiful faces.
See you, Jay.
Later, man.
Yeah.
All right, Jason. Who's your favorite character? I think I know.
Mine?
Yep.
Han Solo, hands down. I mean, and it goes outside of Star Wars even. I'm a huge Harrison Ford fan, which is why my son's middle name is Harrison. Yeah, that's a thing. But yeah, I'm a very sarcastic person. I love Han Solo's sarcasm. I love the delivery of it. I find a lot of similarities between his personality style and my personality style. He very rarely has a plan. He just goes for it. And sees how things turn out. And to my betterment or detriment, that has been my lifestyle. Like, all right, head down, let's go. But yeah, that's mine.
Says the guy who always plans out his podcast and tells us exactly how it works. And I'm like, you have plans? I think you just talk. I still don't know what I'm saying half the time.
Well, I married a planner who plans every aspect of your life. And after 23 years of marriage, you start going, yeah, I can see some value in that. All right, we'll try it.
Hey, listen, I'm not saying there's no value. I'm just not good at it. That's why I make Casey do the planning.
Was she aware of the where the name Harrison came from, or is she going to watch this podcast and be upset at you?
No, we've had this discussion many times. She's actually a huge Indiana Jones fan, so
okay, all right,
it was not a hard sell.
The best answer, you got to change that answer and not say she's a big Indiana Jones fan. You have to say something like she's a big fan of Frantic.
Yeah,
and then just like make it really out there, like, or she really liked 6 Days, 7 Nights.
Clear and Present Danger was her favorite.
She was a huge fan of Sabrina.
Air Force One is the greatest film to ever grace my eyes.
I will watch Air Force One 3 times before I watch 6 Days, 7 Nights ever again.
That is fair. 100%.
Yeah, that's true. Too.
That movie is, to use an expression from Mick on his interview on our show last week, it's a slow burn of stupid.
That is very true. And you're still proves that you're a Harrison Ford fan, even more so because you've watched it at least once.
I have, unfortunately.
Alec, who you got? Who's your favorite character?
Okay, this is going to be controversial, but it's from the newest trilogy. I would say my favorite character is Poe Dameron.
Poe Dameron?
And Poe Dameron. I've only heard it as Damien, but yeah, Poe Dameron.
I was like, who's he?
You're talking to 3 old guys who are just like, what? He's not in the Holy Trilogy?
Right.
Okay. Why?
The reason being is because, and I feel like as people who talk about entertainment a lot, you can agree that writing in the 80s was a little stale, I would say. A lot of the lines are like...
So that's enough of Alex. That was fun.
No, but I mean, come on. Like, some of the line delivery wasn't the best, you can agree. But more so what I would say is that writing nowadays it goes a lot more into the human experience of a lot of things, and a lot more characters feel fleshed out past what we get to see on screen. And that's like a point that the writers make now. But that being said...
Yeah,
that's true. But I can go into a completely different argument with that about how he was set up to be a much bigger player than he was, and that he got screwed over by the change of staff that happened in that trilogy. That whole trilogy is a giant mess to me.
That's not even change of staff. Like, yeah, if there's change of staff, there's a problem, but that was Kathleen Kennedy screwed that up.
He got screwed hard.
He could have been the best, because John Boyega in Attack the Block is probably one of the best movie characters to exist.
Mm-hmm.
And you could tell how great of an actor he is just from that one movie. When he was signed on to put in the Star Wars, I was like, this is going to be amazing. I cannot wait. And then what did they do with him? Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was very sad about how they did Finn, but I don't know. I don't feel like Poe was. I mean,
okay.
I always got the here's the new Han Solo sort of vibe from Poe, which I didn't enjoy.
And I mean, you got that from almost every character. You could pick out who they were supposed to be playing, even down to BB-8's. Oh, this is the new R2. Fine.
Oh, for sure.
But what I would argue is, Poe is Han Solo if Han Solo did not have the cockiness or confidence of Han Solo. If he were just a kid on the street still trying to prove himself, had a past that he was running from that was actually chasing him, and was unable to function because of it. And at the same time is fighting in this great war that is a legacy that his parents left behind, telling him stories of all the shit that they did to help fight the dark side and so on and so forth. But Poe was trying to live up to that and messing up along the way. And we got to see all of that.
I'd almost argue that Poe was exactly like Han Solo if Han Solo wanted to join the rebellion.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
My problem with the Poe Dameron characters, I thought he was great in the first movie. The second movie, he started out when he was just the one X-Wing against that mega Star Destroyer they had or whatever. And then, that was okay, that's Poe Dameron, great introduction. And then they turned him into a whiny baby the rest of the time.
Sure.
And then the third one, they were okay, we're going to touch back down on him being this fun character again, but not dial up the sarcasm and the fun of him. So, he was so inconsistent.
You guys don't think that there was any J.J. Abrams, Ryan Johnson involvement in that kind of stuff?
Because that's definitely the problem.
Huge. That's the whole problem with that entire series. But from what the breakdown of the characters are and what they were supposed to be, I would say that we missed out on a lot from both of those characters, from Finn and Poe.
But I'll always blame producers.
Oh yeah.
And for that rather than the directors, because directors are going to come in and say, I have my vision for this is what I want to do. And Kevin Feige over at Marvel proves every director is going to fall in line with what he wants.
Yeah.
The ultimate vision, all of these have to stay connected in some way. You can have this vision for this movie, but overall it's got to work throughout the entire thing. They don't have that with the Star Wars universe now.
No, and it's also very weird because Marvel's a Disney company, and you'd figure that they would understand. Hey, look, we've made these movies in this way. It's a $1 billion franchise now. What did we do right and what did we do wrong? And they didn't learn any of their own lessons. It's very interesting to me that they screwed the pooch kind of that hard on Star Wars.
Well, for me, the thing is, I like the sequel trilogies. I do. I have issues with a few things here and there, and it's the same thing that I have issues with the prequels as well. But I still like the prequels. The issue is, the biggest issue for me is what we just brought up, is the lack of consistency throughout all the movies. And so, especially now that they're a Disney company, I wish that they had somebody who was a Kevin Feige of the Disney stories. And the closest we have for that right now is Dave Filoni and what he's doing, with Mandalorian and how he's Max. You haven't even watched Bad Batch, shush. So, but with the Clone Wars and everything else, but there's at least synchronized tie-ins with, okay, you can see how this relates to this. And this is coming together because of this show or this movie. And there's all these different references to other things, which are things that didn't happen in the sequel trilogies. They're good movies on of their own if you're not trying to tie them into a different storyline. Because the points where they tried to tie it into other storylines is where it got messy. Because J.J. Abrams, as one of my guests on Funny Science Fiction said, J.J. Abrams, his name is Frank Duran, by the way. Frank is awesome. Frank said J.J. Abrams is forever the question man. He's going to put the questions out there, but he's not going to answer them. And if you have if you doubt that, go watch the show Lost, and you'll know exactly what we're talking.
Ooh.
So J.J. Abrams is the question guy. He answered he posed all these questions in Force Awakens, and then Rian Johnson comes in and is like, yeah, we don't want to do that. We're going to do this instead. So we have this immediate shift away, and then they tried to go back the opposite direction again with J.J. Abrams again, as asking more questions in Episode 9, and that's where some of the disconnect comes in.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's all like there's just no plan, and like JJ, like you're saying, he doesn't have a plan. He sets this thing, and he's like, wouldn't it be fun if this, and then like 10 things happen, and yeah, sure, they're fun, but like no one else is on board with what he was thinking, and then it doesn't seem like he was even on board. Like in the third movie, it's not like, okay, well, from here, wouldn't it be fun if this? He's just like, no, wouldn't it be fun if this, and then like 10 other things happen, and yeah, I don't know about that. But
the third movie felt like a big old fu to Rian Johnson for sure. Like look at the cool things that you could have done if you would have gone with what I set up, but you went on your own path, and now you ruined this whole thing. So this is pointless. Now I made the cousins kiss. Deal with it.
But my favorite character in all of them is Chewbacca.
Yeah, that's a fair answer. I like the Ewoks.
Up on that,
huh?
You broke up on my end for that.
Chewbacca is my favorite character in all of Star Wars. He's
solid.
Yeah, he's just a solid dude. Like no one's mad at Chewbacca. No one's ever like, I can't stand Chewbacca. He's always there. He was there for Yoda. He was there for Han. He was there for Leia. Like Chewie, he's
just a solid dude.
Now. Like, and he didn't get the medal at the end of the movie, and did he cry about that? No, he just went back to work. Like it's no.
And arguably, Chewie dealt with the most loss.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Everyone.
Yeah.
And then he dies kind of tragically, and you're like, oh, Chewie, I can't believe it. But then like they bring him back to suffer some more. So that's just how it is.
That's a great choice, Max. I love that choice. Well, we got a Han, we got a Chewie, we got a Poe, and we got an Obi. So there we go. Great choices right there. Now we're kind of finished off because of that Teen Snobs Podcast mini. Unfortunately, Casey is not feeling well, so he couldn't be here, and we are not doing the episode tonight. But I wanted to do this, ask this question. I haven't heard it asked a lot. What is everybody's favorite? Just got to pick one here. You're not allowed, and it can be at any point in Star Wars, as either the animated series or it could be live action, wherever. Favorite lightsaber duel. I'm going to go backwards this time. I'm going to start with Max.
Okay, favorite hands down lightsaber duel: Darth Maul versus Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn. The first ever double-bladed lightsaber, the Duel of the Fates playing in the background. It's like the most kinetic lightsaber fight, I'd say. I would argue the beginning of the Obi-Wan Anakin fight is as fluid and like just like swords just waving around. But no, I just feel like it's the most fun. You have an actual stuntman, Ray Park, Darth Maul in there doing the lightsaber fight, so they get to do a lot more. I feel like you can see Ewan McGregor and Ray Park, like the more Ewan McGregor felt comfortable with the lightsaber, the more Ray Park let him push himself, and then it became a contest between them. You can see that in the lightsaber battle. So that one to me is my favorite. It's just the super sick fight.
I'll just real quick say that's mine too. So. And for all those reasons, so I don't need to elaborate anymore. But Alex, how about you, man? What's your favorite lightsaber battle?
Yeah, so I'm going to take the writer's stance because that's kind of the point of view I always go for. So, the meaning behind the fight is why it's my favorite, but it's probably going to be the Obi-Wan versus Anakin fight on Mustafar, where they're like dueling it out and there are the lines being exchanged and you're like watching your heart break as you realize that like these are two brothers who are like killing each other and having to deal with that. And It's kind of like you watch in front of you the transformation of Anakin. I just really love that.
My lightsaber fight has the high ground though.
That's fair.
From a visual standpoint, he is correct. From a writer's standpoint, I feel like I just like mine better the way that it was written.
It is funny that one didn't have the high ground and still won, and one did have the high ground and won. So
yeah,
I will. Tim, how about you, man? What's your favorite?
All right, so I can see a lot of validity for Max's argument, and that used to be my favorite. But over the years, I have transitioned to the fight between Anakin and Obi for a lot of the same reasons that Alex just pointed out. The implications of that fight and what you see happening and what's developing there, it sums up everything, and it's the perfect send-off in my mind from the original trilogy to the from the prequel trilogy to the original trilogy. That was, of course, until I saw Rogue One. That was the perfect send-off to the original trilogy. But that lightsaber fight is everything. Not just because of the length of it, but because of everything that Alex just said. I'm trying to find ways to be better than Alex in talking about it, but I'm really kind of failing at the moment. But yeah, there's so much implied there.
I will say there should be, in my opinion, there should be an honorable mention. And if anybody has seen Mandalorian season 2, if you haven't, cover your ears. 3, 2, 1. Ahsoka versus that. She was like the Emperor or whatever of that planet. That was pretty fun. That was a fun little one. Little one. You hate Mandalorian so much. What is wrong with you?
No, I don't hate Mandalorian. What are you talking about? I have not even hated on Mandalorian.
I also want to give honorable mention to any fight that Yoda's in when he's like young and like doing all the fucking flips and shit. Stuff was dope.
So from Clone Wars,
on the other end of that.
From dope. Clone Wars, where the first time you see somebody force pull their lightsaber from their hip, and he pulls out that little trident pack of lightsaber and goes at it. I'm sorry, that was awesome.
I can't do it for CG Force Monkey. I'm not a fan.
But that was his fighting style. That's what made him such a powerful Jedi.
I don't know what you're gonna do to make Yoda actually lightsaber fight, but like the whole before Yoda actually pulls out a lightsaber and fights with it, I thought that Yoda like never even had one, because he could just use the Force to do what he wanted. So like it kind of like made him lose a step for me. Like, why would he even need it? Because he's such a strong, powerful Force manipulator that like getting down to lightsaber fights is really beneath him. I don't know.
I think when you're introduced to him in the older movies, that is exactly what you're supposed to think. Is like, he's not going to fight you with a lightsaber, but a younger Yoda, maybe who's less in tune with the Force, if that's possible.
Yoda, he's only like 10.
Not, you're right in comparison because of his being, but still, I think that when we see Yoda, he's like, oh, I'm a couple days away from death, and so that kind of matters.
And also, Count Dooku is like 92 years old. Like, why is it so hard for Yoda to fight Count Dooku? And he's Yoda. Like, I just feel like they powered Yoda down for that fight. They did a lot of things. It took me right out of it. I was sad at that fight, like, just because
you got some hot takes over there in your basement for sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to like. There's construction going on in this house. I'm trying to find. I'm literally in like the last deepest, darkest corner of my basement right now. But
well, you know what? With that, we're gonna bring things to a close today. Real quick, I want to go around, starting with Tim, Alex, Max. Tell us about your shows, just real quick, and tell us where we can find them.
Sure. Funny Science Fiction Podcast. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on your favorite audio podcast provider. And just a quick plug for our show today, we released an interview with Anna Graves, who is the voice of Duchess Satine. So if you're interested in watching that, go to YouTube, Funny Science Fiction Podcast, Anna Graves.
Awesome. I love it. Alex, how about you, man?
Hey, what's up? I'm from Entertain This with 3 dots. We're a show that encapsulates all things entertainment. We go into deep dives on things from way long ago and yesterday. We cover it all. But more importantly, I want to cover that tonight we're doing our Star Wars Spectacular. It's our second go at it. The first one felt a little lackluster, so they're showing it tonight a bit out of sequence as to where our usual slot is on the channel. But they're showing it tonight at 7. We got like 5 guests on doing 3 different segments talking about all things entertainment. So you should check it out tonight. If you miss it tonight, you can find it on YouTube. Just search Entertain This with 3 dots.
Yeah. Don't forget the 3 dots. You don't want to go to entertain.
Dot.
Yeah.
I mean, entertainment just keeps going.
That's right.
Forever.
Max, how about you, brother?
I'm Max from the 3 Geeks podcast. So you can find us at all of our podcasts and reviews, written reviews, and all kinds of stuff on our website, 3geeks.ninja. Obviously, we're on the Scene Snobs where we got slots all day and night on the Scene Snobs. And you can find one of us geeks popping up on everyone else's podcast all the freaking time. But check out our website, 3geeks.ninja, the most badass website on the internet because we're the only ones with ninjas in it.
Will not argue that, and it is not BS. It is 3geeks.ninja. So type it in, and you will find the truth.
Those guys are so awesome. They podcast from a basement, and you can't find them. Good luck on it.
I will say I want to thank everybody for watching, everybody who listens going on. Again, remember, we are brought to you by Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com. Get 20% off and free shipping with promo code SNOBS. Tonight, 7 p.m., entertain this with an ellipsis at the end. Remember that. But they go on forever, and it's great. They will be doing their Star Wars Spectacular. So check that out. That will be live at 7. And then at 8:30, join us. We are re-airing our Night of the Living Dead video of the pilot episode of the Scene Snobs podcast with Casey and I. It's about 2 years old. It's 2 Night of the Living Dead, but you listen to us talk. It's going to be a lot of fun. So check that out. We'll be live again next week. Until next time, happy Star Wars Day, everybody. Thank you for joining me and my guests today.
Thank you all.
And thank you all. So we'll talk to you soon. Take care.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses, so don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.